Let me state the obvious. You're watching television, but did you ever think watching TV could change your life in a big way? Our next guest, Alex Radelich, is living proof that it can happen. In the spring of 2012, he was watching a movie on TV, and the college student says one line from that movie changed his life forever. One of the characters said, "The way to change the world was through one random act of kindness at a time." That line hit Alex like a ton of bricks and sparked his passion for helping others. The result is this awesome experiment.
We are on our way to Mission Beach. We have this little project that we thought of. It says take what you need, give what you can. We're going to tack a whole bunch of $1 bills on it, and hopefully, I don't know, we all have different ideas of what's about to happen.
So save us. We can sow with love in the morning, feed your soul with love till the evening, expand your soul with love on the weekend, cause love is all I got. We can sow with love in the morning, feed your soul with love in the evening, expand your soul with love on the weekend, cause love is all I got. So we can sow with love in the morning, feed your soul with love in the evening, expand your soul with love on the weekend, cause love is all I got.
This is going a lot differently than we imagined, which is cool, but hopefully someone comes along who could use a few bucks and takes it. So that's why it's here.
I'm pretty poor myself. If I was rich, I'd be putting a $100 bill up there to see what the reaction would be. I mean, I'm rich mentally, but I'm not rich physically.
16, 17, 18. Hey man, here's rent, brother. All you gotta do is love people and have good conversations, man.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, man, give me a hug, brother.
Right.
ARC Project Now stands for Acts of Random Kindness. Alex says it's not just a nonprofit, it's a movement. The group's mission is to prove simple acts of kindness and compassion can make a difference. And it can also bring about change. Alex Radelich is here with us now. Alex, welcome to Full Frame.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that video because he's kind of like, what? Like, it probably shocks people when you come along and do something like that.
It shocked all of us. Like, we're not expecting that video to even be made. It was just like, we had no money on this trip, and we figured, you know, we can put $20 to see what happens. And that guy came up to us afterwards, probably like 2.5 hours in. We thought it would last, 10 minutes because we're putting money out in the open and it says, take what you need. But he came up 2.5 hours in and he just started talking with us, like wondering what's going on. And, we were pretending we didn't know what was going on. And he just had a really good conversation with us. And he was like, is it okay if I go grab money? And we're like, yeah, what do you need it for? He's like, to pay an electric bill. So we went up, grabbed a bunch of money off, helped him pay his electric bill, and it blew his mind. It blew all of our minds.
Let's take, we've kind of jumped ahead. Let's take a step back. 2012, you're watching this movie. Tell us about this experience, because I've seen that movie. I wasn't all that inspired by it, but it inspired you.
Yeah, I mean, I often say it's the cheesiest movie to get inspired by. But it was really, I think it hit me at a season in my life where I was just not happy with college. I knew I wasn't there for the right reasons. And that line spoke to my heart more than anything ever has. So almost immediately when I got home, I made a video just explaining to my friends, if they see me go out of my way to help somebody or to open the door, that video explains why.
Well, stop right there because we have that video. Let's watch it.
All right.
And I thought immediately, I need to fund this whole project. So I was like, how can I do this? I thought, I'm overblessed. I'm gonna sell my Xbox 360 and all my games. Came up with $250 from that. Gave the guy a great deal, by the way. And I told one of my friends about it, and I prayed about it a little bit. And the next day, my friend gave me this thing. It says to bless someone else. He gave me $200. In 3 days, I came up with just around $500 for this project. $500 that I'm just gonna spend on someone else or multiple people. I also made these cards right here. Pretty much I'll do the act of random kindness, give them the card, talk to them, and see if they pay it forward. I'll give them 2 cards. Exponential growth right there. They'll give it to someone, that someone will give it to someone. It's just gonna be a whole crap load of kindness.
It's worth noting, Alex has been so busy he hasn't even changed his sweater. He's still wearing the same sweater as he did in that. You were the one that noticed that while we were watching it. And you also mentioned you hate that video now, but that video touched the nerve in others. Talk to us about what happened after you made it.
Yeah, so I mean, I made that video, posted it on my Facebook, and just through the power of the internet, I was contacted from people in Brazil, Russia, Canada, and United States within the first 24 hours. So that immediately put the thought in my head, like, there's other people that want to help create this community of just kindness. That's the first time I've seen that video in a good 2.5 years, and I'm just like, there's so much more to that story. I love it.
So overwhelmed at the reaction, or did you kind of expect, I'm going to touch a nerve?
I did not expect that. I honestly just thought I'd post it and like my best friends would watch it and it wouldn't be this viral over the night kind of thing.
So now it's one thing to come up with this great idea, it's another thing you put it out there, and then when it's fully embraced as it was, now you have to get to work. You haven't probably thought it that far ahead of it, had you? Or
no.
So then what do you do next?
So the first big thing that happened was me and my best friend Dalton, he hopped on board right away, and he's helped lead this thing to become what it is right now. We wanted to take a road trip for spring break. We thought, let's branch off America into 2 cities, flip a coin. If it lands on heads or tails, we'll go to that city, do an act of kindness, and then flip the coin again and keep going. So people would be like, so where are you guys ending up? And we're like, we have no idea. We're either going west or east, and we'll figure it out on the way. That led to the next spring break. We did the same thing. And then I'm just blessed to have the right people in my life that challenge me to think further and dream bigger. And we were asking for our best friends to come on board. We sat his whole family down, had this whole PowerPoint presentation, and apparently it wasn't clear because at the end of it, the parents are like, do you want money? And we're like, we need your sons to be on board with us. And then the dad was like, why don't you guys buy an RV? And we're like, because we don't have money. And then, I don't know, we're kind of creative people, and we came up with this idea to sell ad space on the side, and then we purchased our first RV. It was like a catch-22 moment, but it worked out. And then that summer we hit the road 6,000 miles for 6 weeks and just made a huge splash.
So talk to me about the splash. You know, one of the things that I think is great about what you do is that you really have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, you're just going to go out there, you're going to do this. And so I know you know this is going to be fantastic, but you don't know to what degree. So as you're on this path, you know, and I imagine after each day, you're probably sitting there talking to your buddies going, wow, that was amazing. What were the things that were happening?
Man, that's very true. We had no idea what to expect. It's hard to raise funds for something where you're just saying like, you know, it's going to be really awesome, I promise. I have no idea what's going to happen. But we secured funding for that first year and just hit the road with really no plans. We had a couple like bigger things like shopping sprees and stuff planned out beforehand. But those bigger things just got us in the media. And then after that, it was like we all realized the smaller random acts that were happening just in some random Walmart parking lot had such an effect on our hearts, and just, I don't know, it's addicting, kindness. I never thought of it that way, but it became addicting to be like, all right, let's put our phones down and just be 100% aware of what's around us.
Is it hard though? I mean, it's great what you're doing, but is it ever hard where you walk away and you're like, this is almost like Cinderella though, and you know, like we gave them that one shining moment, or is it enough to change, to intercede in somebody's life, have that special moment, and maybe 5-10 years from now it has this overall impact on them?
The hard part, or at least the part I struggle with, is just at the end of the day and letting some doubt set in my mind, is this really worth it? You know, all I did today was buy somebody else's groceries. But you know, every once in a while you'll get a story back of how much that really meant to them, because you never know what somebody's going through.
If you were to talk to somebody out there, just randomly, just run into somebody, and they were to say, you know, I don't know, I just don't have very much money, I don't have, what would you tell them is, you know, I guess the higher the risk, the higher the return, all of that sort of stuff. But in a sense, you get back as much as you give in, even more so, I would think.
You really do. It affects you in a deep way. It does. I would tell that person a smile goes a really long way. I can't tell you how many times I've had a bad day walking down a hallway and somebody smiles at me and I'm just like, you know what, everything's going to be okay.
if somebody's watching this and they want to contribute money, here's another piece that they probably aren't aware of. You're not really looking for that, are you?
We're not. No, we're trying to solely rely on corporate sponsors. We're kind of lining those up as we go. But we're making it very difficult for the general public to donate to us. We'd rather have people take that money and go out and actually try an act of kindness rather than just give us money to do it ourselves.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us, Alex. It's great what you're doing, and keep it up. Really.